I'm so excited to unpack this with you today. So walk me through this, right? Let's say I want to go lose 25 pounds, or, I want to make an extra 20 grand right now, or pay off some debt, start a side hustle, whatever that is. You guys all have your goals, and they're your goals, which is phenomenal. Nate, how would you tell that person to get started with those morning routines, which you specialize in?
Bro, that's an amazing question. But also, can I say that you're just fired up right now? That post.
I really am, dude.
Dude, I love it.
Well, because I know the impact that you've made in my life and the people around us. So Nate and I are in a mastermind group together, and I've seen the impact you've made with some people there. And I know just that one idea that you're going to share right now is going to help so many people. So that's why I'm just like, let's go, so yeah. Plus coffee kicks in, that helps too.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, so a lot of what I do is helping people make more money, but I'm not like, I don't know real estate, Nick. I can't help you with your business. I don't know roofing. I can't help my roofing client make more money in his business via roofing. But what I can do is help people change their bodies, change their energy, change their mindset. That, like you said, makes you a better spouse. It makes you a better business owner. It makes you more energetic, more clarity, more focused. And that's so important. And I believe a lot of that starts not just in the morning routine, but the nighttime routine right before it too. So actually, can we start with the nighttime? Is that okay?
Oh, you're going to flip-flop me. Okay. So you're going nighttime first, dude. Hey, you're the expert in this area, man. You've changed my world with it. So talk to me about the nighttime routine then.
All right. So I think that, because I feel like, a lot of times if you go into the day, like the morning, there's a lot of good things you can do to start yourself off on a productive day. But if you take that next step and you do this the night before, you're actually going to compound and 10x, just get a lot more out of your day, because you're going to be prepared physically, mentally, emotionally. All right. So I don't know about you, but a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of business owners I talk to have that spinning gear, like just going wild at night, hard to sleep sometimes because you're so turned up, right?
Sometimes, every night. Yeah.
Every night. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a couple of things that I like to do before bed that are going to help you out, really get focused, really get honed in on what your mission is. Okay. And you can't be about your mission, Nick, if you're on Instagram, if you're scrolling social media mindlessly. You can't be about your mission if you're watching stupid videos on YouTube. You can't be about your mission if you're watching South Park on Netflix or whatever, okay? So first rule is always screens off 30 minutes before bed.
Okay.
Okay? That's just got to be a piece of your life, right? And I mean, obviously sometimes you got to take an email, you got to do a thing. Your rule should be 30 minutes before you go to bed, start this process, screens off, okay? It's pretty easy. Then what I like to do is have a piece of paper, just something easy. I like the line paper. I write a ton of notes for myself. I always have one of these just sitting by my bed, tons of notes, okay? And I write down my 3 goals for tomorrow, okay? What 3 things, if I accomplish only these 3 things tomorrow, would I be like, yes, that was a good day. I feel accomplished. I'm killing it.
So what you're also doing, though, is you're putting that out there to the universe, right? To let your brain, your reticular activator, go as you're sleeping, your subconscious mind on those 3 goals. Is that what you're doing?
And you said reticular activator, bro. That's so sick. Yes, exactly. So there's twofold, okay? So I believe the subconscious mind is so much more powerful than we give it credit for in our industry. So 2 things. Number 1, you're getting clarity on your goals. You're figuring out what 3 things. So like, okay, I need to get my workout. I need to get back to these 3. I need to get these 3 contracts in, and I need to write a chapter for my book. If I finish those 3 things, I'm going to be pumped up. Okay. So now you've taken those from your brain, put them on a piece of paper, and then let your subconscious mold over those all night. How can I accomplish those things? So you wake up in the morning with a great idea for the next chapter of your book, for how to structure your contract that you hadn't even thought about before, because you gave yourself the instructions.
Well, I love that. So if you kind of brain dump, right, and get them out there on paper, but then the very next morning as you wake up and you're having your morning cup of coffee, going through your morning routine, you're constantly thinking about those 3 things for the day. Plus you've already started with almost that victory coming into the new day. Now I see why you snuck this in first versus the morning. I gotcha.
Because it's so easy to get up and be like, I'm on Instagram. Oh, there's an email. I got to put out a fire. Someone's at the office. They're mad. Oh, I got to go over here and I got to do this thing. And then it's 11 o'clock and you've done 0 of the things that actually make a difference for your career and your life. Right?
Dude, you're dialed in, man. Wow. This is insane. Awesome.
Bro, I'm passionate about this. I think this is so important and this makes a huge difference for people. Okay. So then what I like to do is I like to, and I'll do this sometimes with my family. Sometimes I'll write it down. Sometimes I'll do this while I'm praying or whatever, but just be thankful. Exercise gratitude. What are 3 things from today that were awesome? Did you see a sunset? We live in Arizona, sunset capital of the world.
Yeah.
I've been a lot of places and Arizona sunsets are amazing. What did you love about today? Was it an interaction with a client? Did you have a great workout? Did you see something beautiful? What are you thankful for? We get so caught up in like, let's get more, let's grab these things, let's buy a new iPhone, I'm gonna need a Tesla. What are you grateful for? What's awesome in your life? Because it's awesome to be alive. We live in the US. That's the greatest country in the entire world. We get to wake up every morning. I got the use of both my legs. I feel amazing. I've got a family. There's so much amazing things happening for me. And it's easy to get caught up, especially in this time of consumerism, kind of December, the holidays, and what we don't have. The happiest people in the world are the people who can take that time and appreciate the things that they've been given, these gifts, these blessings. So take that time, take just a couple minutes, write down 3 things that you're blessed with.
Dude, I'm so glad you brought that up for our listeners here on the podcast. I mean, I own 3 businesses. I own a very successful real estate company. I'm one of the top real estate agents in the state of Arizona. And I used to be on that phone check-in email up until 10 o'clock at night, 10:30, waiting on a contract to come in, waiting on a new deal to come in. And what it does is it almost never let your brain shut down. And I noticed that my sleep patterns got all thrown out of whack. And through your advice, I actually took the gratitude exercise and I started listing out everything that day that I was grateful for. And not just that day in my life, right? I'm grateful for my family and my health and for me having my legs back and things like that. And I remember this calmness started coming over me right at first as it would finally let me shut down. And instead of going to bed worried about that new contract, that new client, that email, or that one, you guys know you get that email at 9, nothing good happens on email after 9:30 at night is what I've realized. Because
right.
if you're getting an
that's
email,
tweetable.
It's nobody telling me they love me. It's always a problem, right? And then I'm going to go to bed and right? I've been at a computer at midnight writing back all pissed off. But I found that by listing out all those things that I was grateful for, it almost started, I would go to bed on such a positive vibe, right? I was thinking about the things, not even surface level, the things that are deep that matter to me that I was working towards, right? It was like, wow, look at what I accomplished today, but I'm so grateful for these things because I'm blessing my family or I'm blessing these people or whatever that was. So I'm really glad you brought that out. What else, dude?
What else? I want to say, I know you got 3 businesses and you're hugely successful and you're so energetic, but I also know this about you, Nick. You're hard on yourself, bro.
Yep.
You sometimes can't see how great you are and how amazing you're doing, and to be thankful for who you are at your core and all the work you do.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah. You spent we all entrepreneurs and stuff. We all spend time focusing on what we could have done better.
More drive, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that you said that. Okay. The next thing is, especially some people don't have a problem with sleeping. Some people do. I like to, if you do have a problem falling asleep, taking a sleep aid. I got a couple different ideas about that. So for people who have a hard time falling asleep, melatonin.
Okay.
For people who have a hard time staying asleep, magnesium. And if you don't want to take any supplements, then just doing like a yoga pose, anything that's called like an inversion. So it doesn't have to be like a handstand, but an inversion is anytime your head is below your heart center. So a good example of that is child's pose. That's my favorite. Child's pose or down dog. And just doing some deep breathing into the diaphragm, inhale to the diaphragm, exhale all the way out. That's so much more relaxing than, taking an Ambien. It's going to not have those negative side effects. Okay. So
in full disclosure to our listeners here, Nate actually put me through this exact routine. What was cool is I didn't know Nate was teaching this, guys. And so I had saw a Facebook Live class and I hopped on it and Nate's like, oh, hey, Nick's on the class. I'm like, oh, what up, Nate? And I got on just to, kind of hear it at first. And maybe you guys have been on one of those Facebook Lives where it's kind of on in the background. Well, I'll tell you, after 3 minutes of hearing Nate's passion for this subject, I had closed all windows. You were like the big screen on my Mac, and I'm just like a little kid, just like, okay, Nate, what's next? And I'm literally posting comments. But guys, I actually did the magnesium and the melatonin, 2 very easy supplements on your body that I will tell you, my sleep difference was a black and white difference from before using those and after using those. And more than just the sleep, it's the clarity that you have when you wake up the next morning ready to conquer the day. So I'm glad you brought that up, man.
Yeah, you wake up feeling good, not like, oh, I wish I had 2 more minutes. And I got 2 more things for you. One is, I think that if you do have a hard time falling asleep, just grab a book of your choice, something that's not super exciting, something that's positive, either that deals with something that you're working on in your business or your life, or, something that's a historical, I'm actually breaking that rule right now, reading a book about the Mexican mafia, and it's crazy, but also stay up too late because it's exciting. So don't do that. Do as I say, not what I'm doing right now. And then I got a quick pro tip for you. Have you ever done this, Nick, where you look at your clock and it's 10:45 and you're like, okay, I gotta get up at 4. So if I fall asleep,
you start counting it.
I can get 5 hours and 16 minutes of sleep. Okay. All right. Well, it's 10:50 now. I can 5 hours and 10 minutes of sleep.
And then you negotiate with yourself on why you didn't need the full 7 hours or 8 hours.
Yeah. Stop doing that. Don't ever do that again. Don't count. Don't look at the clock. It doesn't matter. And plus, when you wake up in the morning and you're like, well, I only got 3 hours and 16 minutes last night, and you don't have an option, by thinking that, that's a scarcity mindset. You're just going to throw yourself into more of a loop. If you wake up and you go, I got the sleep I got, I'm feeling pretty good, I'm ready to rock and roll, that's a positive mindset, and that you're not waking yourself up thinking like, I'm not enough, I don't have enough, it's not good enough. You know, you put yourself in the alternate mindset, and then it's called placebo sleep. If you're like, I feel good, I got plenty of sleep, then you'll actually feel better throughout the day.
Interesting. So let me ask you a question on this. Loving the nighttime routine stuff, but with technology today, I think 99.9% of us use our alarms off of our phones. Any tips on that? Because obviously, if the phone's right next to your bed, if you get a text, a tweet, a ding in the middle of the night, like I get an Instagram post at like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, damn, dude. I got a text this morning at 4:45 a.m. Who the hell's texting me at 4:45? It couldn't have been that important. Any tips on that with having your mobile phone near you, like put it on do not disturb? Any tips for that, Nate?
Yeah, actually, let's use this as a segue to jump into the AM routine, because
Boom.
I got the first one is my first thing in the morning is don't snooze your alarm. Okay, easier said than done, but it's a lot easier to do. You take that phone, you put it across the room. That way, when the alarm starts going off, that's a pain in the ass. You got to stand up and go turn it off, and if you want to come back to your bed, like it makes it just a lot harder. It's a little barrier of entry to fall back asleep. So put that shit somewhere else. Put it somewhere else. Or put it on like everything silent mode, between the hours of 10 and 6 or whatever.
I love that. Okay.
Sleep is. Okay. All right. Can we get a little more into the AM routine now?
Dude, okay. So we put a bow on the nighttime, right? So
yeah, let's tie that up, wrap it up.
Like a little bit in summary, dude. I love the idea of setting your 3 goals for the next day. One of the things that I started doing as well that I really enjoy is my 3 big victories for that day. On top of what I was grateful for is what did I accomplish that day? And it could be more than 3. And I'll tell you this, being an entrepreneur, a lot of people on this call we always don't think that we're moving fast enough. And, we're always comparing ourselves to somebody else. And I found, dude, I've listed out one day where I did like 35 things. And I looked down like, dude, are you kidding me? That's a good point. I finished that website. I recorded that video, right? I called that client. We sent out these mailers. And looking back, I was like, man, look at what I did today, And so I like working that in as well. Your big goals for the next day. And then obviously I think finishing on an attitude of gratitude is the biggest thing you absolutely could do.
Yeah. And someone like you, Nick, who wears a lot of different hats, it's easy to kind of forget what you did, because you're like, oh, I fixed that website. I did this email responder. I tweaked this ad. I uploaded a video. I edited this piece, like you're wearing like 9 or 10 different hats at any given time. So if you don't actually come back and reflect on those victories, it's kind of, sometimes you can just brush your skills and like how excellent you actually are at your job under the rug. And it's important to appreciate yourself.
Well, also though, I think if you're on this call too, and you maybe you just started your new business on the side, or maybe you're just starting to try to be, work on your relationships, or maybe you just started at the gym. I think even reflecting, if that list isn't 30 things long, but it was, wow, I went for a walk around the neighborhood today. Mm-hmm. Or, you know what, I didn't eat fast food the whole day. And I think rewarding yourself for that and knowing that you did that, because what I personally teach and feel is that day is going to turn into a week, that week into a month, and almost reflecting on, wow, I never could run a mile before. And yeah, it might've taken me 15 minutes, but I ran a mile today. I'll never forget this, dude. After my surgery, I was doing my rehab and stuff, and I had rode a bike at the gym. It was the first time I'd walked into a gym. And dude, I think I rode like 2 miles on a bike for like 12 minutes. And for me, I might have been Rocky running up the steps in Philly, dude. Like I jumped off the bike and I'm like, woo! People are looking at me like, dude, this kid just got on the bike. He's barely broke a sweat. But for me, it was like the biggest hurdle ever, because it was a building block. So I think even reflecting on, even if you didn't do a ton of stuff, maybe you just told your spouse you loved them that day. Or you know what, maybe there was no phones at dinner that night, and you got rid of all the tablets and all the phones, and you went and just loved on your kids for an hour. I think that in itself, just looking at those victories could be huge for you too, and put you in such a positive mental state before you go to bed.
Totally.
Cool. Let's move on to tomorrow morning. Let's go to the mornings now.
All right. So the first thing is WTFU.
Whoa, 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 dude. Hey, this is a PG-13 show. Here, Nate.
Oh man, I've been saying a lot of bad stuff already.
No, episode 1, we actually did drop. We were so excited, dude. I think there was like 15 F-bombs in it. We obviously toned up. But Nate, what are you talking about, dude? You're saying F-U over here.
I said, WTFU, wake the heck up.
Ah, I gotcha.
That's the don't snooze alarm piece, okay? The second thing is get some water in you, bro. We spend all night breathing out moist air. We wake up dehydrated. It's just kind of how it is, you know? And I don't know if you know this or not, Nick, but the way we burn fat is not in the gym. It's not on the treadmill, and it's not when we're eating kale salads. It's at night when we're breathing out moist air. That's when their body has a chance to metabolize all the fat that we burn in the day. Yep, and then you actually exhale it. That's how the fat goes. You exhale it. And you know what you can't do? You can't exhale fat as much if you're not hydrated at all.
Never heard, dude. I'm learning something new, and I'm on the podcast with you. This is excellent, bro.
Yeah, bro. Well, I'm glad to bring some value. So you've got to get hydrated. So first thing in the morning, the first thing you're going to go do is you're going to grab at least 24 ounces of water, and you're going to crush it.
He's going all 24 right now. You guys, we're on video, but Nate, I think, just chugged like 20 ounces of water.
Yeah, I feel great now.
There you go.
So hydration plays has an important impact on your strength levels too. If you're dehydrated by as much as a 3% even, which is a pretty big amount, your strength levels will be down like 30%. Ridiculous.
Interesting.
Yeah. So water's gonna, if you're not hydrated, you're not gonna get enough energy from your coffee. You're not gonna burn as much fat. You're not gonna feel as much energy. Your joints in your back is gonna hurt, okay, because you don't have as much lubrication through those joints. This is all good. There's nothing better than waking up and having a big glass of water to start your day. The best thing you can do. Then you can always upgrade that if you put a little bit of squeeze of like a half a lemon in there, maybe a little apple cider vinegar. Those things will both have good effects on your stomach and your digestion. But let's not get it complicated. Let's just get that water in us. Yep. And then the third thing I want you to do is get some D.
Okay.
You got to get the D, Nick.
Please explain, Nate.
Vitamin D. In the Pacific Northwest, up in Seattle, doctors don't even test for vitamin D deficiency anymore because they're just like, yes, you have vitamin D deficiency.
They just know you have it. Got it.
Yeah. And I mean, we live in Arizona, so there's a lot more sun. But when was the last time you spent 10 minutes outside with your shirt off on purpose? Most of us don't. Most of us go house to car to office to car to house. We don't go outside. So vitamin D is not necessarily just a vitamin. It's more of a hormone than a vitamin. So it has a really high impact on your immune system, on your metabolism, on your energy levels. So if you start off the day with 5,000 IUs, IU stands for international units. It's basically like the units that we measure vitamin D in. So I use this stuff called D-emulsion. It's liquid drops. It's easy, it's fast, goes in my tongue, boom, feels good. And then I actually use that as a trigger for me to be like, this is something that's going to give me energy. It's going to help me feel good. It's going to boost my immune system. I have that intention when I take it, and it does. That's the thing about like having kind of, I'll call them talismans, triggers. Anything where you take that magnesium at night, you take that vitamin D in the morning, and you give it an intention. You say, I'm so thankful that this is going to give me the energy that I need for the day. Boom, you take that, and it works.
Dude, I love that. So you're almost being very intentional with what you're doing, but almost like, hey, you're fueling yourself to live that triumphant life, right? To be able to be an achiever or be healthy or be more present. I'm really loving what you're saying right now. And it's funny you mentioned the vitamin D. So I'm up north, about 3.5 hours north of Phoenix, in the snow at a cabin. And my whole vitamin D morning routine is gone because it's freezing up here, dude. It's like 20 degrees in the morning. And so normally I would go outside and stand in the sunshine back in Phoenix for, 10, 15 minutes. And I can tell something's been off. And it's funny you say that because even this morning I took my dog for a quick walk. I'm shaking in there, but I'm bundled up in a beanie and a jacket, and I'm lacking that vitamin D. So I'm going to have to get me some supplements right now, get that D in me.
That's right. That's right. And then the next one I'll go is I'll feel the burn is the next thing I like to do in the morning. So what'll happen is kind of in people's general daily routine, here's what it looks like. You wake up, you stagger over to the coffee pot, you put the coffee on, you grab your phone, you look at Instagram, you look at your emails, whatever else, okay? So what I would encourage you to do instead, get the water, get the vitamin D, now throw your coffee on, okay? And then during the time while you're letting your coffee brew or you're making your breakfast, give yourself a 10-minute workout. Something that's either like, depending on how you're feeling, yoga flow, something light, get you warmed up. Maybe use your suspension trainer, just bust out some rows and some push-ups. Or if you're like a lot of people who are in my Optimal Self fitness group, what we have is a challenge going on right now, just doing 50 push-ups a day, all through December, okay? So drop on the ground, give me 50, okay?
Yeah, so you do 50 push-ups right as the coffee's making, and so kind of get some oxygen flowing, get your body moving a little bit, just kind of wake you up.
Yeah, and if you're, especially for dudes, you feel great. You get a little chest pump, a little arm pump.
A little swell going.
Yeah, like.
Here's a fun idea for you on this one. I actually really enjoy doing this one because I heard you mention this, and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do in the morning? Some pop jacks, some jumpy jacks, whatever. And my intention's to be closer with my puppy in the mornings. And so what I did was, and if you guys have kids, you could do this as well, is I grab my dog and I start playing with them and like just messing with them, like doing curls. I'll push them up over my head and kind of play with them. And if you got a little kid, grab them and kind of twirl them around a little bit and just think about that moment for them. And I know he loves it because I'll go play with them a little bit, get him riled up, and I'm moving, kind of wrestling with him. At the same time, I'm getting my body going and he's getting that dad attention, right? And so if one of your big goals, as you are busy with your businesses or your career, to be more present with your family, that might be a quick little 10-minute moment that is so impactful before the kids run out for school. Grab them and throw them up, kind of play with them a little bit, and you kind of kill two birds with one stone.
That's a great call. Love that. So I think I like that you want to be closer with your puppy Teddy, but you're actually physically becoming closer with him by holding him tight, doing squats.
Well, it's funny because I think we get so caught up in the day ahead, right? Like, and I'll rush around and I'm showering, getting ready. And sometimes I hate to say this, and maybe you're like me, is I almost feel like sometimes he is an afterthought. I don't have any kids, so he's like a son to me. And I wanted to really start my day on that type of a positive vibe with him. And it's been really, really refreshing to have that moment with him in the mornings. And it's funny, you can see him kind of respond because he knows when dad gets up, it's time to play, play with the ball or play with dad. And I've noticed too, if I do push-ups, maybe you guys have pups too, he runs underneath me and does like push-ups. Like I'll like push up to him. It's kind of funny actually. So.
Awesome. So
cool.
the last piece of my morning routine that I have my clients do, I think that's just really life-changing, is I call it a motivation injection. Okay, just because it sounds cool. But basically, this is like find a podcast. There's one called The Triumphant Life that I think is just mind-blowing.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, you should. I'll introduce the host sometime. He's very handsome.
I hear the host has a face for radio.
Oh man, yeah, but find a podcast you like. Find a video on YouTube that pumps you up. Read from a book, like The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino, one of Zig Ziglar's books. John C. Maxwell. Anyone who pumps you up, gets you motivated, makes you feel like, kind of puts you in the right mindset for the day ahead that you want to have. Read that book. Listen to their podcast. Everyone's got a podcast now. Just find one that you really vibe with and listen to that. Or what I like to do is I like to listen to some songs that pump me up. Okay.
Yeah.
I got a whole list of rap hip hop that I love. I met a guy this weekend calls himself Brother James, Brotha James. You can find him on Spotify. He's got just all sorts of motivational songs. They're all positive message, uplifting stuff you can listen to. They kind of set your tone for the day, your intentions.
The one I use on this is an app called Motivate. Actually, it's actually word is Motivate, and there's a website called Motivate. And what you get is you get 5 daily videos, and each video is about 3 to 5 minutes long. And I found just getting in a couple of videos in the morning just inspires me, right? I mean, it has everybody on there. I mean, I've heard Gary Vee, I've heard Tony Robbins, Les Brown. I mean, Les Brown gets you going in the morning, man. Trust me. A little Les Brown, woo, I'm good to go. And they drop on 5 free videos to your phone every single morning. I've given this app out to hundreds of people as a recommendation. So guys on the call right now on the podcast, highly recommend downloading the Motivate app for that.
That's awesome. Yeah, but find something that works for you. Don't
sure.
If you don't like videos, don't do the videos. Go to a podcast. You don't like podcasts, listen to music. Find whatever that works for you that gets you feeling good and rock and roll with that, So these are my big five. And I take a lot from Hal Elrod's Miracle Morning Routine called the Lifesavers.
Yeah.
Have you heard of those?
Yeah.
Okay, so he does a couple different things that are a little different. Doesn't necessarily have the water in there, the vitamin D, but he starts off, so it's SAVERS, it's the acronym. So S stands for silence. So that can be motivation or meditation, prayer, deep breathing, whatever that is for you. Then A is affirmations. So talking, like giving yourself some encouraging words to
Sure.
help you achieve your goals, overcome your fears, etc. The V is visualization. So imagine yourself doing the thing that you want to do. So for me, I've had a really specific visualization recently of this goal, this big goal I set for 2019. And I try to go through this scenario once or twice every day where I imagine what's happening, my goal kind of coming true. And I imagine, okay, think like, what else is happening in the room? What color, like what clothes am I wearing? What else is going on? Who's
Wow.
there? What am I smelling? You know, I really try to get deep with this visualization, you know, so that way I can actually like manifest that, you know. And like you said with the reticular activator, like now if I'm telling my brain this is the direction we're going, it's going to give me the opportunities that match up with that goal, that visualization.
Throughout the day, you're going to be looking for it. Well, not necessarily looking for them. Your subconscious looking for them. As you're going through your life, you might be able to notice those types of things. I love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
I mean, not me, Sal. So visualization. The third one is E, exercise. So same there. Then he's got R and S, the reading. So kind of the inject motivation, but he generally talks about filling your brain with positive thoughts from a book. And then scribing or journaling is the S. So SAVERS is the acronym there. And I mean, I'm cool, but Hal Elrod is the man, obviously, and he's got a whole movement behind the Miracle Morning book. So yeah, either one of these is great, but figuring out whatever the routine is that works for you, that you like the best. So, you know, maybe you don't do your exercise in the morning, you do it at a different time, or maybe you add in the scribing and the affirmations rather than exactly what I've laid out. But take the paradigm that I've given you and add to that, take from it, do what you need to do to create a standard operating morning routine that works for you and that helps you feel the way you want to feel during the day.